Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're going to be going over the all-new Volvo XC40. Before we get in this video, though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Volvo here in Salt Lake City, Utah, for giving me some time with this XC40. I'm going to include a link to their inventory in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. If you have any questions or need any help, just ask for Mark. And then on a side note, if you save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. So the XC40 has a dual electric motor set up with a 78 kilowatt hour battery pack. Power outputs are 402 horsepower and then 486 pound-feet of torque, with range being 223 miles. And then for those of you wondering, yes, we do have a little bit of storage space underneath here in the frunk. Now, before we go to the front end, I do want to mention, if you see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Starting with the hood, you guys can see that, well, it's just gigantic and flat there in the center, and then it kind of dips off on either side. And then popping down below, we have the signature Thor's Hammer LED daytime running lights with the LED headlamps. And then you can see we've got the Volvo logo there front and center. There's actually a camera there in the center of the logo, and then everything's closed off because, well, it's fully electric. And then we do have parking sensors on the front end too. And putting it all together, you know, it looks pretty cool. Coming around the side here, our tire and wheel setup is 235, 45, 20 in the front, and then 255, 40, 20 in the rear. And then as for the design, you guys can see the wheels mostly closed off for aerodynamic efficiency. Got the silver there on the top. I think it looks pretty cool. And then taking a few steps back, you guys can see there for the fender flares, and then look at the bodywork there at the bottom as well. Altogether, it looks pretty good. So here's our key fob. You guys can see Volvo logo there on the front, and then we've got our lock function, our unlock function, and then the opening here for the hatch. And then popping inside, you guys can see we've got the cargo cover here at the top, and you know, overall storage space is actually pretty solid here in the XC40. And if we move all this back, there's this little latch that we can pull up, and you got more storage space underneath. When you're all done, all you got to do is just press that button right there and it'll lower the hatch right back down. Now we have Volvo's signature like boomerang slash arrow tail lights, and then you guys can see here with our Recharge Twin badge, and then you got like your Volvo logo, your XC40 badge as well. Parking sensors here at the bottom, and we also have a receiver hitch as well. And you know what, putting it all together, I definitely think that it is a good looking crossover. And for those of you wondering, that's how you charge it. Now here's the door panel in the rear. You guys can see here with the padding, and then look at the blue carpeting. That is really cool. And then here are the seats. I love the stitching here, and then you guys can see here with the inserts, definitely a unique look. Legroom here in the back is actually pretty solid. We've got this little cargo net here. We've got some vents in the center, and then heated seats down below and a USB. And then headroom's also solid back here. And for those of you wondering, this does in fact have a cup holder armrest. Now with the front door panel, you guys can see really nice padding, and then look at, again, the blue trim right there. We've got all of our window controls right here. You've got your mirror adjustments. The mirrors do power fold in. We got memory seat functionality too, and then we have blind spot mounting for the mirrors as well. And then look at the front seats. Love the piping there, and then you guys can see with the stitching, and then look at down below as well. And then we do have all of our power adjustments with the lumbar support, and then our recharge badge. Pretty normal pedals, and yes, we got more blue carpet right there, and then you can see this little button here to release the hatch. Now with the XC40, as soon as you get in the car, it automatically starts up, so that's why I don't have a like push button sequence and everything. But anyways, really nice trim around the steering wheel. You got darker stitching on the center portion. We got like voice command controls. We got stuff here for the center screen, adaptive cruise control, turn signal light stalk, and then windshield wiper stalk. And for some reason, the steering wheel squeaks. Now here is the center gauge cluster. You guys can see full digital gauge cluster. I think it looks fantastic. And then if I press the little pages button, it gets rid of the nav screen there in the center. And yes, you guys can see we have 11%, 27 miles of range. And I'm actually really glad this has no range, because it'll give me a chance to see what it's like to drive this without any range, because every single time I've driven the C40 and the XC40, they've always had a full charge pretty much. Now in reverse, we have a backup camera with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel, and this has the 360 camera system, so you can see out of every single angle, which is great, and resolution's fantastic too. Now as for the rest of the infotainment system, response time with the screen's actually really solid. I like you have that home screen button you can always press there at the bottom. Notice that we have heated seats and a heated steering wheel. We've got automatic climate controls as well, and if you press the little settings tab, then this will actually let you do stuff for the charging, but also you got your off-road mode for the driving modes. And then down below here, we've got a little like radio control, and you can see more stuff for the radio and then some stuff for the climate too. We've got our charging area here with some USBs, 12 volt, and then a wireless phone charging pad. And then here is our shifter, and notice that you just push in for park, pretty straightforward. We've got some cup holders here, and then this is where we get the interesting Volvo quirks. So just like random little storage space there, and then we have our like Volvo trash can. Yeah, it's a thing. And you can see that we've got the center console on top of that, and nice padding and stitching on top. I do like this trim here on the dash. I think that looks pretty cool. And then down below here with the glove box, you can see decent storage space. And then this is pretty cool. So you just have a slider for the sunroof. It has a full panoramic sunroof. I'm going to close it because the sunlight's going to kill the shot, but pretty cool. Makes you feel like you're in the future. So here's our winter sticker for this XC40 Recharge, or Recharge Twin, whatever. Anyways, base MSRP $56,250, total MSRP $61,515 after all options. And let's talk about why this still exists when the C40 exists. It's confusing, I know. Let's go. Let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility of the hood, both of the mirrors, throughout the rest of the rear, and let's set off with 11% range. Okay, so we're setting off in the XC40, and I think this vehicle is kind of a little bit superfluous at this point with the new C40, and we'll kind of talk about that more as the driving goes on. But first off, I've got it set in the one pedal drive mode, so like right now I am on the accelerator pedal and I'll let off, and it's a true one pedal drive. Like it really does pull back substantially with the throttle, which is pretty cool. Ride quality is really good. Seat comfort is also really good as well here with the XC40, and overall it drives really well actually. For an electric vehicle, I actually really like what Volvo's done. I am kind of a bigger fan of Volvo's hybrid vehicles, like the Recharge models, like an XC90 or an XC60 Recharge, but I do think that their fully electric vehicles are really solid. And I like the interior on this too. I think they've done a good job overall with like the theme and just making it feel, quirky in Volvo's own way. Okay, so getting up and moving further along. The nice thing about electric vehicles is obviously the instant power and torque. And so it's just really smooth with the acceleration, or at least you can make it smooth, or you can obviously go full throttle and make it a little bit less smooth. So here, let's see if I can get this without. Yeah, look at that, that's crazy. I'm actually having to press the accelerated pedal yet again because of how aggressive that one pedal drive is. Again, it's something you definitely have to get used to, but once you get used to it, I'm gonna have to turn off this heated steering wheel because this thing is boiling. But once you get used to it, it's actually really easy system, frankly. And I think that also once you get used to it, it's something that you really appreciate as well. So we'll kind of punch it a little bit here. Oh wow, so yeah, it does say that you lose power because of the battery not being charged, and then also because of the range. And let me tell you, when you're doing your regular, just normal driving, it doesn't feel that different, but punching it, it doesn't have the same punch that it normally does. That's what I wanted to see. I know that this might be boring for you guys, but this is exciting for me. Yeah, it's seriously like pulled back so hard. That's interesting. That's one of the things with electric cars though, right? If you don't have, a full charge, if the battery's not warmed up, it can't give you all of the juice. So selling things up with the XC40. I really like this as an electric car. I just don't think that it should exist anymore because of the C40. Like, they're so similar. They're like the same size. They almost look the same, and they drive the same. They have like the same range. Everything's the same with them. It's just the name that's different by one letter, right? And when I was at the release event for the C40, a bunch of journalists brought that up to Volvo, and Volvo said, they're different. And it's like, yeah, they look a little bit different, and one has an X in the name and one doesn't. But let me know what you guys think. I think that this is still a great EV, but I just think that Volvo should just trim the fat a little bit with the lineup. And I mean, I feel like it's pretty also like pretty self-explanatory when Volvo has all these C40s on their lot that they're selling, but then there's not a lot of XC40s anymore with this fully electric model. So let me know what you guys think.